guys, what is going on? Blossom is back and welcome back to another episode of Top Drives and another episode of what can you get from that pack. Now, today's pack in question is indeed the diesel carbon fiber pack that you need to open in order to win a diesel prize car, which in that sense I like, you know, it makes sense. You use diesel German cars to win a prize diesel German car. That's kind of smart. I like that. It's a callback to the old days of Top Drives when it required like 5 times Porsche to win a Porsche prize car, or 5 times Mercedes to win a Mercedes prize car. Those are the good days, man. Those are the good days, because in that sense, I could have predicted what were the requirements going to be like 3 months in advance if I was looking for a specific prize car. You know what I mean? Like, oh, if I want a Dodge, just get 5 strong Dodges. But obviously I guess it was too predictable, and I guess I don't know, Hutch obviously didn't do that anymore, but this kind of makes sense, which is kind of nice. But obviously guys, in this series what I like to do is rate the cars that you can get from the pack in 2 different respective ways. One way is their usefulness in the tri-series alone, and the other way is the usefulness in the respective open gameplay kind of situation. Okay, now I want to start off with a very fun fact. This is not only a fun fact, but it is a depressing fact. Okay, so the entire pack, you can see over here, from prize car winning all the way to LMFAO, you see every single card that you can get from the pack. Okay, so let me give you a fun fact right now. The highest MRA that you can get from this entire pack, the car with the highest MRA, you want to guess what the highest MRA is? Let me know down in the comments below. I'm gonna let you guess in 3, 2, 1. Have you guessed? Okay, cool. The highest MRA car in this entire pack has an MRA of 72. That's it. Highest MRA 72 right here. Mr. RQ68 white background, 72.13 MRA. Second highest car, this one over here, Mr. 71 RQ, 70 MRA. It's sad. It's sad. It's actually so, oh my god, I don't know what to say, dude. I don't know what to say, dude. The best 72. I don't know. Anyway guys. All right, so obviously I'm going to talk about how useful these cars are in a tri-series final first, and in the top tier we have prize car winning. So this is the best possible hand if you have every car fully upgraded and you don't have any duplicates. Now, I'm putting 6 cars in here. Usually I do 5. Initially it was going to be this 5, but then again, I understand that there is a strategy out there where some people are playing the double dirt, and if you're playing the double dirt, then I will put in the Audi SQ7. Now I know what everyone's going to say, and I want to let you know that I am aware of this. The Porsche Macan is the best car for the motocross. I know this, but why am I not putting the Porsche Macan in prize car winning? The issue is, even though the Porsche Macan is the best from the motocross, it's really only getting you value on one of the 4 track sets. The Audi SQ7 I think is a little bit better because you can use it for that versatility, where, and in this scenario in the final it actually comes into play, where it is good for the motocross, but it's also really good for that 1 track set with all the drags. It's like a Tokyo drag and a half mile and all that bull crap. Obviously for one of the drags you want to deploy this BMW. That's the best one there, right? And then for the second drag, I would actually recommend using the Audi SQ7 because it has a lower 0 to 60 than all these other 4-wheel drive center tire BMWs. And obviously you're going to be reserving the Audi SQ8 for the off-road, because each track set in the final at least has 1 off-road track set, right? So because of that, the Porsche Macan would actually like just be sent to Gapplebee's on that drag track set. So because of that extra versatility, and also because the SQ7 is respectable on the city streets small as well as the motocross, I think that would be a pretty good option if you want to go for the double dirt meta for the absolute prize car winning. So either way, you know, this could be the top 5, or you could bring in the SQ7 and take out the BMW 530D. That will be a top 5 hand too. Not top 5, top 10 hand as well. So I'm just going to give all 6 of these cars prize car winning potential. Okay, moving down to possible prize car winning, we have the Porsche Macan. Now we talked about the Porsche Macan already. It's the best car for the motocross, and it's relatively decent on the off-road sectors on every single track set, but it does falter to the Audi SQ8 everywhere but that motocross. So because of that, the Porsche Macan, I'm going to put in possible prize car winning. That being said, the Audi SQ7 is also really strong on the 0 to 100. I think there's a 0 to 100 dirt as well, if I remember correctly. There is 1 drag dirt where the Audi SQ7 is the best best option to use. So that's another plus for the Audi SQ7. Now, moving on to possible prize car winning, we also have the Audi S4 Avant, BMW 740L, as well as the BMW M340D. Now, the only reason why this 68 is above this 68, the 440D, is that if you compare these two cars together on the tracks that's in the final, the BMW M340D has just a higher win rate. Like, it wins, I think, 70% of the track sets, where the 440D wins 30% of the track sets. So because of that, I'm putting this one above the 440. It just makes sense. Then we move on to these are cars that are still strong, but let's not forget that this is a final where the RQ limit is 450. So literally, it's open season. You can run the 5 best possible cars for this final. And if you have these epics, you're going to be using these epics. Oh, I would kill for a 330D X Drive right now. I don't have that, and it's really annoying me. I have the Legendary, which I recently got in an off-camera carbon fiber, which I've not been posted on Instagram yet. So you're hearing about it first if you're not in my Discord channel. So I have that now. I have the SQ8 and I have the SQ7. So I have those 3 components, and then I'm running an M340D, and on top of that, I'm also running the 530D. Now, I gotta say, very disappointing car. This BMW 530D is very, very disappointing. The thing about it is that it has one of the stronger MRAs, but that isn't saying much. It's 64. It's just that the other BMWs have 50. So yeah, 64 is 14 more MRA, but that's still atrocious. Not to mention the 0 to 60 on the BMW 530D is depressing. 5.3 for a 0 to 60 for a 76 RQ car. No. And then on top of that, so it's one of the weakest, if not the weakest, 76 on option. Other cars in the category would comprise of the BMW 730D. We talked about the BMW 440 already, the 320, the Audi S7, the Audi A5, the A4, the 520 Ultra Rare, and the Mini Countryman as well. So these two are your best Ultra Rare substitutes if you don't want to max a crappy grade epic. So what are the crappy grade epics? Let's go to Good Luck Son. And now we have the crappy grade epics, the epics that you do not want to touch at all or upgrade or max, okay? Because even if you max cars like the BMW X7 and the X5 and the Audi Q8, there isn't a guarantee that you're actually going to win the prize car, which is depressing. So all of these epics, basically from the BMW 840D all the way to the Audi A8, are just the worst. And then obviously these Ultra Rares, they're not the worst Ultra Rares, but obviously because they are so far down the pecking order, they are definitely not going to be cars that are capable of winning you this RQ104 prize car. So these weaker but not the weakest Ultra Rares would comprise of the Audi Q7, Q2, Q5, Q3, and the BMW 120. And last but not least, I'm gonna be laughing at you if you win a prize car with any of these. I mean, to be fair, if you're watching and you play in the European brackets, European brackets, you can win with absolutely anything. I'm not even gonna say anything about that, okay? But if you're in the American brackets or the Asian brackets, if you win with any of these cars over here, god damn, you were lucky. Very, very lucky. But anyway, cars that I feel like would give you almost no chance would be the Ranger all the way to the Porsche Cayenne Diesel. I think I'm a little bit too mean to the Diesel. I'm going to bring the Diesel up, but everything else from the Ranger all the way down to the BMW 320D are cars that have no chance for you in this final, okay? But anyway, let's move on to how good this pack is in a general sense. Okay, beautiful people, round number 2, you guys know how it works with Dirk Kaiser, Daily Driver, Frequent Provider, Pernicious Ulcer, and Hot Garbage. And we're going to begin with the Alfa Romeo Visconti, which I'm going to put immediately in Pernicious Ulcer. Now, I feel like there's a category for these weaker performing cars, and that is when a car has the strongest stat in its 0 to 60. Usually, those are the most disappointing cars, because usually, they're boosted stats with their 0 to 60, and of course, they have something else like their drivetrain. Like this one's 4-wheel drive, so obviously it's going to boost it up, but then nothing else about the car is impressive. The handling isn't good enough, top speed is average, and the MRA of the Visconti is 40 freaking 7. So really the only strong thing about the Visconti is that for an RQ51 4-wheel drive, it has a low 0 to 60. That's the only thing. So I'm going to put it in Pernicious Ulcer. It's close to Hot Garbage, but not quite just there. Next one is the Audi A3 Saloon. I've been looking for this car for quite some time, mainly because I actually appreciate the fact that it handles 4-wheel drive, standard tires, medium ground clearance, and 84 handling. That is a decent combination, and it's the same question for the Audi A4 Saloon as well. Those two are pretty decent, and of course, the two decent Audis that came in Enter the Black Forest, I don't have. It just be like that. I got the useless ones. What can I say? But anyway, those cars are gonna be in daily driver in my opinion. Next up is the Audi A6 All-Road Quattro. Now, I think the only thing that the All-Road Quattro brings to the table is, I believe, it's medium ground clearance. So it's kind of like it has better stats compared to high ground clearance cars, and it's under 2 tons, so it's under 2,000 kilograms, so that's also like, you know, relatively light. I'm gonna put it in frequent provider. Not the worst thing in the world, not the best. Next up is the Audi Q2. Once again, it's a relatively lightweight car, if I remember correctly, coming in at 1,000. Yes, very light for an SUV, coming in at 1,660 kilograms, and it handles pretty well as well. So it has a good combination of lightweight and handling, and because of that, I'm putting it in frequent provider. Next up is the Audi Q5 2.0. Now, the Audi Q5 2.0 is a car that I just most recently got, and I gotta say it looks okay. It's light, coming in at 1,845 kilograms, and it actually handles pretty well at 74 as well. Don't know too much about it, but to keep things consistent, I'm going to put it in frequent provider with the better handling Audi SUVs. That being said, it brings us on to the Audi Q5, and for a car that is higher in RQ than all of the 3 Audis I just talked about and weaker in handling, it truly is a piece of hot garbage. Next up is going to be the Audi Q7 3.0 TDI. Now, an interesting one is because the handling is once again atrocious, but the 0 to 60 is low. It's actually relatively low. I'm going to put it in pernicious ulcer, borderline hot garbage. The main thing about this car though is that it's never going to beat a car like a G63 or a Range Rover V8 or a Chevy Trailblazer Super Sport or SS, whatever the SS should stand for when it comes to a Chevrolet Trailblazer. But yeah, because of that, I'm going to put in pernicious ulcer. I recognize it has a very low 0 to 60, but it has nothing else. Moving on now is the Audi Q3. Now, the Audi Q3 is a pretty interesting one because it has 73 handling once again, but I'm going to put it in pernicious ulcer. It's just slightly worse than the Q5. It has a worse 0 to 60, worse handling. They're both the same RQ, and obviously if I wanted to deploy a 73 RQ car, then I would probably use an Audi Q2, for example. And then you also have the Audi All-Road, which has it's the same handling, even though it's more expensive in RQ, but the 0 to 60 is way lower. For 1 RQ more, there's a 1.1 second 0 to 60 between those 2 cars. Once again, this is high, this is medium, I don't care, okay? I can use it on city streets medium and city streets small, all the same. Moving on is the BMW 120D xDrive. I'm gonna put it in frequent provider. In a general sense, as a 4-wheel drive center tire car, that 120D is actually pretty freaking useless because it doesn't handle, so it's actually really bad. The only reason why I'm putting it in frequent provider is because it holds that one X factor that it is a hatchback. So when it comes to hatchback 4-wheel drive center tire cars, that's one of the few cars that you can use. When you think about it, most of the 4-wheel drive center tire cars that handle pretty well are saloons, like the Kazashi, the Subaru, whatever it is, some kind of Subaru. Subarus are mostly all saloons anyway, and then obviously the Lavoric is an estate. So because of that, the 120D is kind of in a world of its own. So because of that, frequent provider. Next up, BMW 320D Touring. Not too much to say about that. It's pernicious ulcer. Rear-wheel drive standard tires is a curse. Next up, BMW 520D daily driver, great handling, 4-wheel drive, also standard tires, medium ground clearance, and it has that estate niche, so it is very strong, and it is indeed the better car compared to the BMW 120D in everything with a turn, and therefore the same RQ, so daily driver for sure. Next up is the Ford Ranger Raptor. Now this is going to be a pernicious ulcer. You guys know how I feel about that. It's just too heavy. I know it handles well, and it has all the blueprints of actually being a very impressive car, but the 0 to 60 sucks, which doesn't really say much really for an off-road car. But the main thing about the Ranger Raptor is that it's so freaking heavy, 2,500 kilograms, 2.5 tons, and because of that, it actually loses to cars that handle less. It's such a rare occurrence for a car that handles less to beat a car that handles more in the off-road meta. So you know there's something wrong with the Ranger Raptor. Moving on is the Mercedes-Benz X350. I'm gonna move it to frequent provider after its recent buff. Ain't too bad. And then it's a Mini Cooper SD All 4. I'm also going to put that in frequent provider. It's a pretty decent car, I will be honest. Handling could be a little bit better in my opinion, but it's very light, right? Right, like the Audi's 1,600 kilograms. At the end of the day, though, it's hard for me to put any all-surface tire car in daily driver or Der Kaiser unless they are truly the best of the best, right? Because at the end of the day, you want to use off-road tires anyway for the off-road meta. Unless Hutch is like, okay, you can use all-surface tires only, and off-road can go F itself. Where's my mouse? Here's my mouse. My mouse is back. Next up, Porsche Cayenne. Cayenne frequent provider once again is not too bad. It's decent. It'll have its moments. And we now move on to the Epics. Now Epics, I'm gonna go through this super quickly like clockwork. Okay, handling is everything when it comes to four-wheel drive standard tire cars. So far there hasn't been a car that really handles exponentially well, but still loses to cars that handles less. So there's no like standard tire Ford Ranger, if that makes sense. So pretty simple. The Audi A5 is the best one here. I'm gonna put it. I'm not even daily driver, honestly. I'm gonna put in frequent provider, and the other Audis, I'm gonna put them all in pernicious ulcer. Audi Q8 is hot garbage. Audi S4 Avant. Now, this one's an estate. It's hard to tell, but it is an estate. I think you can kind of see it at the back. Not the worst thing in the world. Handles okay. Once again, MRA on none of these cars are strong. None of them are strong in any regard at all. I'm gonna put both of these in pernicious ulcer. None of them has really wowed me in any regard. S6 TDI is hot garbage. Audi SQ7 TDI is frequent provider. It will have its moments, mostly in diesel events and only in diesel events, really. Next up is the BMW 320d X-Drive Saloon. I'm gonna put that in frequent provider just because it handles pretty well compared to its competition in its RQ neighborhood. So that's pretty cool. But at the end of the day, guys, it's still an RQ66 Epic. You know what I mean? Like, it's still, in a general sense, it's still going to lose to cars like the CT6, the E-Pace, and even the recently nerfed DS Numero 9. So, because of that, yeah, frequent provider is the best I can give it. And then with the BMW 330d X-Drive, finally, we have our first Der Kaiser. There we go. It might only be the only, no, it's not, it won't be the only Der Kaiser. I can think of one more Der Kaiser that's going to be here. Yeah, 330d, that's a strong one. I have no regrets. That's a good one. No opposing thoughts. Next up is going to be the BMW 530d X-Drive Saloon. It's okay. Daily driver, and then 530d X-Drive Touring. It's frequent provider, maybe. Part of me actually wants to bring it down to pernicious ulcer. I mean, for a 76, it has one less handling than a 66. That's very, very embarrassing in my opinion. I don't know. I'll think about that. The 530d, I might bring it down later. Next up is the, you know what? You look at this, right? The where's the car that I just put? Where did it go? Yeah, the 730d. That is a frequent provider. This is a pernicious ulcer. Why? Because the 730d is actually the better car. It's 2 RQ cheaper to use, has the same handling, the same top speed, and it has a lower 0 to 60. Yes, I understand the 730d has worse MRA. Yes, I understand that it's heavier, but who cares, right? When it comes to those those wet, twisty situations, MRA ain't gonna mean jack to you anyway. So for that reason, I'm actually gonna bring the 530d down to pernicious ulcer. I don't know. I'm really on a crossroads for this car. It's in between frequent provider and pernicious ulcer. I'll put it in pernicious ulcer for now. I might bump it up later. Next up is the 740d X-Drive. I'm gonna put that in frequent provider. That's what I expect from a 76 4.9 as opposed to the BMW 530d 530d 5.3. You know what I mean? Next up is the BMW 840d X-Drive convertible. That is hot garbage. That is trash. That 0 to 60 is garbage. Next up, especially is considering that it's performance tires, garbage. Next up is the BMW M340d X-Drive Saloon. At best, much like the 320d, it is going to be frequent provider. It's okay for its RQ neighborhood, but let's not forget, RQ68 is the bottom end of epics, okay? Next up is the BMW M340d X-Drive Touring, and that is going to be it's a tough one. I'm gonna put it in pernicious ulcer just because it's a little bit worse than, you know, this one over here. 440d is a frequent provider in my opinion. BMW M550d X-Drive Saloon. Okay. Oh god, no, what have I done? Okay, we're back. I was scared. I accidentally pressed the back button because my mouse has those side buttons. And yeah, we're back. Okay, nothing's changed. So we're gonna put where was I? I was talking about a car. And it disappeared. Oh, this one. Yes. So this is gonna be pernicious ulcer. Yeah, I'm fine with that pernicious ulcer. This one 4481. I'm gonna put that in pernicious ulcer as well. Although it's useful in the final. I mean, at the end of the day, you're not gonna use this car in any drag. Yeah, it's one of the best cars in the drags for the final, but that's it. You know, you're not gonna use this in a drag in a general sense. So pernicious ulcer. X5 is going to be pernicious ulcer. X7 is pernicious ulcer. Honestly, I'm actually going to bring both of these down. So yeah, I'm going to think I think they're hot garbage. Macan is a freaking provider in my opinion because it handles very well, relatively light. SQ8 is a daily driver. And last but not least, the BMW 330D X-Drive Saloon is Der Kaiser. So yeah, in this entire pack, only 2 of the cars are in the top tier in my opinion. Only 5 of the cars are in the second highest tier in my opinion. And let's not forget, the bottom 3 tiers to me are meh. And everything, okay? So they're 49, I think. Let me double check. They're 41, okay? 41 cars in this entire pack. And only 7 of them, in my eyes, can actually get you value. Boy, that's sad. That is really sad. But at the end of the day, like, some of these cars are kind of desirable for some of you guys, you know, BMW collectors, saloon collectors, and they all kind of have a silver lining where these cars are either medium ground clearance and standard. Maybe they are all surface and high ground clearance, so they're not completely like useless. Like, they're not like a Lamborghini Murcielago, for example, you know what I mean? Like, not that bad, but they're still bad. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for today. Let me know down in the comments below if you disagree or agree with my opinions, and also let me know how you're doing in the final. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. Remember to stay safe, wash your hands, and blossom out. Peace.
Bro, this song just makes me so happy.
Me too.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Sit back, relax in my Bonneville Pontiac. Hold tight all night, cruise to Jacksonville Atlantic. Blonde hair, don't care, look like